Hi everyone. I'm sure as you might know that on my blog. I wrote all my Heywood results down and that, and I promised I would do videos of all the games. Now, even if you've seen the blog, you know all the results, you should still watch the videos because you can see how they were brought about, and see some analysis on what I did wrong and what I could improve. And if you haven't seen the blog, then I would recommend you watch these videos first so you don't know the results. And there is some exciting games. The first ever video we did was my round 2 game against, because I actually played Tim, who I've done the website with, amazingly enough, the other member of Epic Chess. We actually played each other over the board, and I shall put the link in as a video response, so they're all together. This was the under 140 section. I am 141 now, so I would have to go into the under 160. But I was 114 at the time. My opponent at the time was James Tennant-Smith, who is approaching 80, but he was very strong back in the day, and even once beat Nigel Short. He actually even showed me the game later on. These days, though, he was 131 ECF at the time, and he's now 136 ECF. So he's actually gone up despite his age. Anyway, and also when you play old players, you are likely to face sidelines, so be careful. Like this one. This is a sideline. What I usually play against this is knight f6. However, I thought I would experiment with d4, which is playable, but you have to know your stuff. Knight e2, c5, c3, knight c6, c takes d4, c takes d4, queen a4. Now there's a potential dangerous pin, and the only way to defend the pawn is with bishop c5. Knight f6 I think is possible as well, counter-attacking against e4, but I don't really know it. Now b4, this is the key test to the opening. I am now deflected off defensive to d4 pawn, so white will gain a stronger centre. Takes, knight e takes d4. And now I have to be very careful because there is bishop b5 coming up. And in fact, the immediate threat is knight takes c6 check, followed by queen takes b4. So again, my move is forced. And now bishop b5. So in this position, white is threatening queen takes b4 because of the pin on the knight. So I can't, if I just castle, then the knight is attacked 3 times and only defended twice, and I will therefore be losing. I have a few, well, there's actually, amazingly enough, there's only one move in this position that holds for black, but it leads to a good unbalanced position. And suffice to say, I fail to spot it, and I lose practically instantly, as for my quickest ever defeat, by a mile. First of all, bishop d7 doesn't work. I'm threatening to castle. Now it sets a trap where if white takes with the knight, I take with the pawn, and now after queen takes, I win white's bishop with a good position. With some good queenside play coming up with a5, and I can just castle and have a good game. However, white just takes with a bishop, and I am losing. After knight takes, you see that if I just take the knight, I lose my bishop. If I try queen b6, then he just takes with a queen. If queen f6, then e5 with tempo. And there's nothing I can do here, and I am going to be a piece down. Just to show you one of them, queen f6 hitting the rook, then e5 wins. The move that holds is queen b6 because of the queen defends the bishop after all the tactics. If knight takes c6, then knight takes c6, bishop takes c6, b takes c6, and if the other capture occurs, then we simply transpose. And now this is what the position is supposed to arise. Black has got a good bishop pawn in an open position, threatening stuff like bishop a6, stopping white from castling. Black does, however, have a very weak isolated c6 pawn, so white does have some counterplay. But overall, this is a good position for black. He has survived the opening. He can just castle and face the future with confidence. Also, d5 is clamped down on. And this pawn structure reminds me a bit of the Qa4, except c6 is weak. But the two bishops gives black a very good game, and white is lagging in development. Also, the queen is a bit misplaced, and I would have been very happy to play this position. But seeing as it was round 1, I completely blundered with queen d6 double question mark, because I didn't see about that queen b6 eventually defends the bishop, because I didn't calculate that far. And now there is a very simple forced win for white, and you have 10 seconds to try and spot it, or you can stop the video, but you could easily find it in a few seconds. It's not hard. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, e5. So the queen is going to get deflected away from the bishop. That's the idea, and this bishop is going to be lost. Queen c5, and now there is 2 wins for white now. There is knight b3, where queen b6, and now queen takes b4 because the knight is pinned. If I try castling, the idea is that the bishop's pinned, and the queen is on pre. So, and if bishop takes c6, then I can take white's queen, and I'll be queen up. White just simply plays queen a4, and white is now that dark squared bishop up, which I've highlighted, and therefore winning. There is nothing for black here. My opponent also does a winning plan. He does a3. Then I try the swindle before resigning with bishop c3, where if the bishop is taken, then queen takes c3 check wins the rook on a1, which would be a swindle. However, my opponent isn't stupid and plays knight b3, and I am being deflected off the bishop. I resigned in this position since I'm going to be a piece down, because the best move is to take on d2, and after bishop takes d2, white is a piece for a pawn up with a crushing position. Houdini gives an advantage of nearly 5 pawns. So I decided to throw in the towel after just 13 moves. The rest of my games will shortly follow. If you want to see my round 2 game, then check out the video response. It was also a joint commentary as well. And by the way, we'll probably have a lot of time left here, since this game is only 13 moves. I would like to say that the Heywood Congress next year takes place on I think it's the 26th to 27th of June, or it's the weekend around that day anyway. Bill O'Rourke, the guy in charge of it, will like as many of you to come down as possible. And it's a really good congress. It's only 2 days. It's 5 games, but it's only 2 days. So there'll be less like petrol money and all that. It's really good. I really enjoyed this weekend. There's a nice chicken place called Qa4 Chicken nearby, which you might want to check out. It's really good, and the venue's nice and all that. So if you live in like the Greater Manchester, Lancashire, Yorkshire, Cheshire area, then please check it out. It's good prize money as well, and it ranges from a novice section at under 120 to an open, which is strong, and I'd like a few players over 200 grade in it, including an FM. But anyway, for now, yes, I know I played awfully. Sorry to show you the awful game, but I thought it might be instructive. And please leave any comments and thoughts, and thank you very much. See you on YouTube.